The next section, everyone's probably heard about blogs, blogging, and what they call real-time content, where all of a sudden a website doesn't necessarily have to have what you published last week on it. You can have far more engaging content through using what's called UGC. User-generated content is a sort of generic term for allowing other people, users of your website, to actually add content into your website or your Facebook page, or commenting through other various channels. And that content is actually really, really interesting. I'm going to step back from Tony from Business Cornwall here, because somebody said, well, a number of people have said to me recently, when it comes to reading online newspapers and online publications, that they say, and I mean, this probably rings true with a number of people in the room, the articles are really interesting, but what's more interesting almost is the actual people's responses. And people will actually go back and actually read the responses to online news articles and find that just as interesting, possibly even more interesting than the original article itself. That's not to say journalism is dead. Good journalism is probably more highly valued than it ever has been before, but ultimately, if you're presenting an online presence, whether it's a website or a Facebook page or whatever it is, if you can actually get other users contributing content on there, then it's saving you time, and it's also actually providing something that's far more interesting to visitors to your website. Video, yeah, a very interesting statistic or report I read. It was actually published last year, and it stated that YouTube is now the second biggest search engine in the world. I think what they actually meant is the total number of searches on YouTube was only rivaled by the number of searches on Google. Obviously Google still is right at the top there, but approximately about a quarter of the size of, if you take the number of searches that occur on Google, about a quarter of the size of that figure was the number of searches on YouTube. And that's because far more people have got broadband now, and people are looking for video content. People are looking for videos about where they're going to go on holiday, or product reviews, or because actually video is far more interesting than just looking at a static image. Again, so if you can provide videos of your products or your message, if you can communicate through short video clips, then ultimately that's far more engaging than just, having a little bit of a paragraph saying how wonderful the product is. Ultimately, you engage with people more, and people's behaviour has been changing, so that people are looking for video. If you can provide video, then you're communicating more effectively. And the newest one, I suppose, although social media really, I would argue, has been around for a long, long time. Actually, the use of social media has grown massively in the past 2 years, and social media elements on your website, I would say, are crucial. If you're building a new website and you're not taking into account consideration towards social media, then you are really massively, massively missing a huge opportunity to get a lot more visitors to your website, to engage with them in a lot more interesting ways. And this is probably singularly one of the most important aspects that has changed with regard to producing websites in 2009. Search for Uknetweb, you can all do that if you like, but the reason I put this on here is that when you're having a brochure produced, or possibly a banner, or an advert in a magazine, when you're doing all of these things, commonly people would say, oh, put a website address up. And certainly I was telling people 5 years ago, make sure you publish your website address. And then more recently, certainly 4 years ago, I was saying, don't just publish your website address, actually tell people what they're going to find when they go to that website. And more recently, again, certainly this year, there's been a massive trend towards actually telling people just to search. people are used to using Google, people are used to using Bing and Yahoo and search engines, and people are used to using the internet and the web. So just tell people to search for your brand name and what you want to be, what you want them to find you for. And providing that you do have a good, strong social media strategy, and providing that you've got lots of content in lots of different places on the web, then this can work really well for you. This is an example of a search page. I just did search for Uknetweb on Google, and we've got something like every single, pretty much 20 first 2 pages of links all relate to something to do with Uknetweb. And obviously we've tried to make as many of them as possible link back to us or have some kind of relevance to the message that we're trying to put across. So the first 2 are for us, then we have LinkedIn, then we have Twitter, and so on and so forth. I'm a bit disappointed we've got a nice Facebook page, but that's not on page 1 yet. But ultimately, by having lots of different presences and a good, strong social media strategy, which Aaron will obviously come to later, you can actually be found for lots of different searches. And actually, fundamentally, that page can actually engage with people for far longer, because they may want to go and find you in different places. So therefore, your message isn't just going out through your website, but it's also going out through other online resources or other websites, which obviously you need to try and make sure all link back to the message that you're trying to communicate. That's it for me. I'll be happy to take questions later. If you do have any questions, just make a quick note of them now, and we'll have about half an hour to answer them. And if you do need this is the quick plug bit. We do this sort of stuff. Innovation on the internet is the one thing that really keeps me alive, I think, and certainly I think innovation on the internet really is the way forward. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing the same things that you were doing in 2006. My contact details are here, and if you need to have a look at this presentation again, it is available at slideshare.net/Uknetweb. If you just search on Google for Uknetweb, you'll find a link to slideshare.net.